The history of the Kaaba and the city of Mecca in Islamic tradition. The Kaaba and Mecca hold a unique and central place in Islamic history, symbolizing monotheism and devotion to God. Their significance traces back thousands of years, starting with Prophet Ibrahim, PBUH, and continuing through to Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. This history reflects a profound spiritual legacy, with the Kaaba as the focal point of Islamic worship and pilgrimage. The early history of Mecca and the Kaaba. In ancient times, Mecca was a small desert settlement in the Arabian Peninsula, situated at the heart of ancient trade routes. Its significance, however, grew from the divine purpose for which it was established. According to Islamic tradition, Allah instructed Prophet Ibrahim and his son, Prophet Ishmael, PBUH, to construct the Kaaba as a place for worshiping the one God. Prophet Ibrahim traveled to Mecca with Hajar and their son Ismail, leaving them in the valley under God's command. When Hajar ran between the hills of Safa and Marwa searching for water, Allah miraculously provided the Zamzam well, which continues to flow today. This well attracted nearby tribes, helping establish a small community around it, marking the beginnings of Mecca as a settled location. The construction of the Kaaba by Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail. Allah later instructed Ibrahim and Ismail to build the Kaaba. Together they laid its foundation on a site designated by Allah. They constructed the Kaaba as a simple, cuboid structure with stones. This initial Kaaba became the first house dedicated to the worship of Allah, symbolizing purity and unity in the worship of the one God. Upon completing the Kaaba, Ibrahim and Ismail prayed for Allah's acceptance of their efforts, asking Him to make Mecca a secure and blessed land. They also prayed for a prophet to emerge from their descendants to guide humanity, a prayer that, in Islamic belief, was answered centuries later with the birth of Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. Allah then commanded Ibrahim to proclaim the pilgrimage to all people, establishing the tradition of Hajj pilgrimage as a journey of devotion to the Kaaba. This marked the beginning of Mecca as a sacred city and the Kaaba as a spiritual center for people from far and wide. Over centuries, through the ages, the monotheistic tradition of Ibrahim was corrupted, and idol worship found its way into Mecca. The Quraysh tribe, the custodians of the Kaaba, placed numerous idols around the Kaaba and allowed pagan rituals to flourish. While the Kaaba remained a revered structure, its purpose was distorted by idolatry, and Mecca transformed into a center of polytheistic worship. Despite the shift away from monotheism, Mecca continued to be an important trade hub, drawing people from across Arabia and beyond. The Kaaba was still a focal point for pilgrimage, though the original worship of Allah was largely forgotten. The birth of Prophet Muhammad and the restoration of monotheism. Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, was born into the Quraysh tribe in Mecca in 570 CE. Raised in a society steeped in idol worship, Muhammad, PBUH, was always inclined toward monotheism, rejecting the prevalent customs of his people. At the age of 40, he received his first revelation from Allah through the angel Gabriel. The message of Islam emphasized the oneness of Allah and his mission to restore all forms of idolatry and urging people to return to the pure worship established by Ibrahim. The Kaaba, which had been defiled with idols, was again recognized as the house of Allah, and the city of Mecca was highlighted as a place of immense spiritual value. The conquest of Mecca and the cleansing of the Kaaba. After years of persecution in Mecca, Muhammad and his followers migrated to Medina. This event, known as the Hijra, marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. Despite the challenges, Muhammad maintained a deep connection to the Kaaba and Mecca. In 630 CE, Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, and his followers returned to Mecca, reclaiming the city peacefully in what is known as the conquest of Mecca. Upon entering the Kaaba, he removed all idols, restoring it as a sanctuary dedicated solely to the worship of Allah. This act marked the return of Mecca to its monotheistic roots, as intended by Prophet Ibrahim. The Kaaba then became the Qibla, or direction of prayer, for Muslims worldwide, uniting them in a common act of devotion. Prophet Muhammad established the rites of Hajj according to Ibrahim's tradition, instructing Muslims to perform pilgrimage at least once in their lifetime, if able, reinforcing the Kaaba's significance as a spiritual center. The importance of the Kaaba and Mecca in Islamic worship. The Kaaba is described in the Quran as the first house of worship established for humanity, intended as a sanctuary where all believers can connect with Allah. Muslims around the world turn toward the Kaaba during daily prayers, fostering a profound sense of unity among the global Muslim community. Mecca is also home to the annual pilgrimage, Hajj, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Hajj is a journey of faith and devotion that reenacts the experiences of Ibrahim, Hajar, and Muhammad PBUH, embodying the spirit of submission and monotheism. Pilgrims from all corners of the world gather at the Kaaba to fulfill their religious duty, bringing together diverse cultures and backgrounds in a shared expression of faith. The lasting spiritual significance of the Kaaba and Mecca. The Kaaba and the city of Mecca hold a profound place in the hearts of Muslims. They are not merely historical sites but symbols of faith, devotion, and unity. The Kaaba represents the oneness of Allah, and its significance as a sanctuary of peace endures in the Islamic tradition. For Muslims, Mecca is a city of spiritual rebirth. Each year, millions of pilgrims leave behind material concerns to embark on Hajj, seeking forgiveness and closeness to Allah. The rituals of Hajj emphasize humility, equality, and the shared human journey toward the divine. In conclusion, from the time of Prophet Ibrahim to Prophet Muhammad, the Kaaba and Mecca have been central to Islamic history and spirituality. Built on the foundation of monotheism, they serve as timeless reminders of humanity's duty to worship Allah alone. The Kaaba stands as a beacon of faith, while Mecca remains a city sanctified by divine purpose, drawing Muslims into a collective experience of devotion.